All right, good morning again, everyone, and we've got tip-off coming up at 1:02 this afternoon, so time to really get things rolling with this 2026 Mastodon Athletics Hall of Fame ceremony. Really appreciate everyone joining us here today, especially considering the weather and travel conditions, so whether you came from near or far, glad to have you. My name is John Nolan. I have the privilege and the pleasure of being a play-by-play broadcaster here with the Mastodons, and it's an honor for me to be with you this morning as we honor a group of Dons legends. So officially, hello and welcome to the 2026 Mastodon Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And this year's class truly is special and diverse for that matter, from a male athlete to a female athlete to an iconic contributor and a championship team. Actually, maybe the only thing missing from this year's class would be a coach. And so in case you had heard any rumors, to confirm, this year's Hall of Fame committee also did not vote in Bill Belichick. So no coach here today. Would have been bad to have Jordan with us, but to no avail. Beyond that, though, here, this group really represents the evolution of the Mastodons, from a Division II program to a Division I independent to a member of the Summit League, and now all trailblazing for today's Dons to be thriving in the Horizon League, and for that matter, to be an athletic program capable of taking down anyone from the Boilermakers to the Hoosiers to the Fighting Irish, with a couple of those victories just recently here this season. So indeed, it's a great day to be a Don. It's a great week to be a Don here with homecoming. I know we have women's basketball head coach Maria Marcasano here helping to set the tone earlier this week with a victory. Of course, a big men's basketball game today, a celebration for men's volleyball as well. So many positive events taking place this week. And it's truly just incredible to be in this room with greatness, with these athletes and coaches and contributors. And these Hall of Famers, they really represent excellence, and not only in athletics, but for that matter when it comes to mind and spirit as well, exhibiting characteristics like toughness and tenacity and integrity, really setting them apart even from other high achievers. And like I said, it's a diverse group, so I was trying to be inclusive when writing this, but another defining trait for some members of this class, the ability to hit a high-pitched octave in excitement that no one thought was possible. And with that, not talking about Mike Maahs, but John Konchar. He was quiet on the court, but he would really get into it when playing video games. So with that, I'd like to introduce the great leader of the Mastodons, Director of Athletics, Kelly Hartley Hutton.
Thank you, John. And we are so fortunate to have John Nolan as our MC today. He's on the play-by-play call for our ESPN broadcast. He is involved in our department, it seems like all year long. And you might know him. He was the voice of the Tin Caps from Fort Wayne. You might know that. Voiced the Tin Caps for a while. And now he's on the call with the Indiana Fever. So, John, thank you, a friend, a fan. We really appreciate you. Let's hear it for John. So now, on behalf of Purdue Fort Wayne Athletics, welcome to the 2026 Hall of Fame ceremony. First, a very warm welcome to our inductees and their families sitting up front here. In fact, would Peachy, Mike, not you yet, would Peachy and the 1999 men's soccer team please stand? Thank you. I just wanted everybody to put eyes on them. Mike, we'll get to you in a second. Some of you had to travel, I know, considerably, and family priorities were juggled. We just so appreciate the opportunity for you to allow us to celebrate you and your accomplishments as Mastodons and setting the bar very high for future Dons as well. Now to Mike. I didn't say welcome home, Mike, because Mike told me, do you remember when you said you're never leaving? Do you remember when you told me that? You sat in my office and he said it like this: I'm never leaving. You're going to have to take me out of here in a pine box. Tim, you were there, I think. Do you remember that day? I'm like, all right, he's never leaving. That's safe. But Mike, thank you for being here today, and welcome to your family, too. And, of course, John Konchar. We wish he could be here, but when I texted him and talked to him a few times leading up to today, though he wanted to, the NBA schedule is intense. He was traveling, but we'll hear from him with an acceptance speech via video, so that's exciting, too. I'd also like to welcome Chancellor Ron Elsenbaumer, thanks for being here, and Vice Chancellor Chrissy Surface. Also, our head coaches, many of them here today, some of the most hardworking and caring individuals I know. Maria Marquesano, I saw her, women's basketball, where is she? Her team plays tomorrow. Maria. Team's right now in second place in the Horizon League. They play at 2 p.m. tomorrow, so come out again tomorrow to campus. Women's volleyball coach, Steve Florio. Where's Steve? Right there. Steve. Coach Florio, instrumental in recruiting Peachy. Point that out. Men's soccer coach, Stephen Gordon is here. I'm not sure where he is, but I saw him earlier, I think. And men's volleyball coach, Donnie Gleason. I know you're having an event for men's volleyball later on campus for homecoming. And I saw men's basketball coach, John Kaufman, right here in the front. Also, I see you out there. We'll recognize you in a little bit. I think we welcome back to campus today 16 members of the Hall of Fame. So welcome back to campus, Hall of Famers. Also want to recognize the selection committee. Head coach Steve Florio was on that committee. Again, helped to recruit Peachy, instrumental in that process. Dan Gephardt is on that committee, also a Hall of Famer. Where's Dan? There he is. Thank you, Dan. Ann White, a decorated women's basketball player, an alum. Ann was on that committee. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for those conversations, thoughtful conversations. And I'd also like to thank Derek Sloboda. Where is he? Derek, right there. Assistant AD for Media Services. He's the one that keeps us on task and provides us all the information we need for those thoughtful conversations. So thank you, Derek. And lastly, and it can't be possible to host these sort of events without strong community partnerships, I want to thank Lutheran Health Network and OPS. They keep the Dons healthy all year long. So thank you to them for their involvement today. Now it's my opportunity to introduce a poised and dedicated leader whose commitment to this university is unmistakable. We know he would not have missed this chance today to celebrate alongside excellence and celebrate the Hall of Fame class and welcome back alumni. At this time, it's my honor to welcome to the podium Chancellor Ron Elsenbaumer. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Kelly, for that kind introduction, and good morning, everyone. As John said earlier, it is an exciting day to be a Mastodon, one where we honor the incredible legacies presented in this room, while also celebrating the continued momentum and success of Purdue Fort Wayne on the field, on the court, on the track, and on the course. And as Kelly said, I'm Chancellor Ron Elsenbaumer, and I have the privilege of joining you today as we celebrate an exceptionally accomplished group of alumni athletes and administrators. This year, we're going to honor someone who began working on campus in 1995. We will recognize a full team of Mastodons for just the second time in school history. We will also honor someone whose name is woven throughout her sports record book. And we will also recognize the first and currently only Mastodon to be playing in the NBA. Our current student, quite simply, this class stands as a benchmark for excellence in the history of Purdue-Fort Wayne athletics. Your achievements brought recognition to yourselves, your teams, to our fans, and to your families. But let us not forget, they also brought national visibility and pride to Purdue-Fort Wayne. Long after the final play or announcement of the game, your accomplishments continue to shape how our university is known, remembered, and respected. You didn't just make history. You helped build a legacy that today's student athletes aspire to and that future Mastodons will inherit. While today is rightfully about celebrating what you have already achieved, the university you helped elevate continues to create new opportunities for future success. So let me highlight just a few. Our current student athletes achieved a 3.4 cumulative GPA for fall 2025, the highest combined GPA in the history of the athletics department. And I want to congratulate everyone, both in and outside this room, who contributed to this remarkable milestone. We truly have some of the best student athletes in the Horizon League and beyond. Also, this fall, we will break ground on the state-of-the-art music technology building, bringing cutting-edge academic programs and student experiences to the very heart of our campus. Also, in August of this year, we will celebrate the opening of a major new student housing complex. It's called the Trace on our North Campus, and it will be adding over 600 new beds after 7 consecutive years of our student housing being at and above capacity. We are also adding 12 new club sports this fall, including tackle football for the first time on the Fort Wayne campus, creating more than 200 new opportunities for student athletes to continue competing while they're earning a Purdue degree. Also, and after extensive listening sessions with local K-12 partners, we recently announced 2 new degree programs designed for athletic-minded students. A bachelor's degree in sports management and also one in sports leadership. We will be welcoming new students into those degree programs this fall, 2026. Now, these initiatives, and many others, build directly on the foundation that Hall of Fame honorees like you helped establish. Your success raised expectations, inspired excellence, and continues to propel Purdue-Fort Wayne into the future. Now, for those returning to Fort Wayne for today's celebration, I encourage you to take a walk, maybe take a ride around our campus and see that momentum for yourself. We also invite you to enjoy today's festivities, and I hope you'll also join us tomorrow afternoon for women's basketball at 2 p.m. in the Gates Sports Center on campus, and they will be taking on Detroit Mercy. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you for your extraordinary contributions to the Mastodon community, and congratulations on your induction into the Purdue-Fort Wayne Athletics Hall of Fame. Go Dons. John, back to you. Thank you.
All right, and so before we get to inducting this year's class, as mentioned, we do have quite a few previously inducted Hall of Famers who are with us here today. So real quick, would just like to recognize them. I'll introduce you. You can please stand up, and then at the end, we'll give a nice big ovation for everyone. So Mastodon's Hall of Famers in attendance here today include Andy Adams, Rebecca Agner, Norman Almodovar, Juan Diaz, Art Friedel, Dan Gebhardt, Mike Harper, Tim Heffron, Claire Hemphill, Lisa Horman, Larry Lee, Braun Pfeiffer, Jeff Ritchie, Mary Schreiber, Fabiana Shields, David Simon, and Laura Stiegel. Let's hear it for the Mastodon Hall of Famers here. And a note for that group, when we wrap up here today, please hang around for a moment so we can get a nice group photo of Mastodon Hall of Famers past and present. Now, with that said, let's meet the Mastodon Hall of Fame class of 2026.
The Mastodon Hall of Fame class of 2026. Men's basketball alum, John Konchar. He was a Don from 2014 to 19. And the first player in NCAA Division I history to reach 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 assists, and 200 steals. Konchar then became the first Mastodon to play in the NBA.
Burger. Oh! John Konchar out of nowhere.
Ward, step back three for the win. Yes! Now he's getting to his mid-range. Beautiful.
Women's volleyball alum, Peachy Jankowski. From 2004 through 07, she recorded 2,253 digs, the second most in program history. She also totaled 742 digs in 2006, second most in the rally scoring era for a single season.
Jankowski digs it out. Bellamy setting up Johnson, and Jankowski digs it out. Houston and Jankowski in the right spot. Dig that time by Ferreira. Jankowski with a dig for the Dons. Back and forth we go.
Broadcaster Mike Maahs, a voice of the Mastodons for 31 years, calling volleyball and basketball, as well as hosting weekly interview shows.
Hi everybody, my name's Mike Maahs and welcome.
Hi everybody, I'm Mike Maahs. Welcome once again to IPFW Basketball.
And with that we say good evening to one and all.
The IPFW Mastodons prepare to play host to the Bisons of Lipscomb University. Hi again everybody, I'm Mike Maahs.
Until then, this is Mike Maahs saying have a great week and go Dons.
And the 1999 men's soccer team. That group earned the Great Lakes Valley Conference Championship and defeated Truman State in the NCAA Division II tournament. The 99ers joined the 2007 men's volleyball squad as just the second team inducted into the Mastodon Hall of Fame. Congrats to the entire class.
All right, and so with that, let's hear it for this year's class. And to introduce John Konchar, I'd like to introduce a future Mastodon Hall of Famer himself, the head coach of the men's basketball team, the winningest coach in Mastodon's basketball history, John Kaufman.
So last time I was in this room, and I told Chancellor and Kelly this before, we were doing a pep rally as we were playing Indiana. And I get up here and I kind of go, I just go ad lib, and I see some Indiana sweatshirts out there. Well, in camp, if you're going to wear somebody else's gear to our camp, you got to pay rent. So you got to go down in push-ups. I walk in, I have a flashback. I saw an Indiana hat. Don't worry about it. We're not playing Indiana, whoever the hat is. But I said it because somebody up front, and the next thing I know, I had like 3 grandmas in the back of our pep rally doing push-ups for me in the Indiana game. It worked then. So if we have Robert Morris in here, all right, let's get down and do some push-ups. Hey, Robert Morris sweatshirts? Okay. It's pretty cool, this group being a part of not just John, but Peachy. I coached with Dan at Purdue Fort Wayne. The '99 team with Bron and Mike. Mike here, Mike Maahs. He I think tore a hamstring when we had a race on one of our road trips. Isn't that correct, Mike? Something like that. True competitor right there, Mike. Okay, I'm going to start this out as we talk about John, who's got a special place in my heart. What do Oscar Robertson, Larry Bird, Danny Ferry, Stacey Augman, Ethan Happ, and John Konchar have in common? All 6 recorded 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 400 assists. The day before our Summit League tournament quarterfinal, a friend texted me a picture of his TV screen, a Big Ten network that showed a graphic recognizing Ethan Happ from Wisconsin, who had just reached these numbers. I texted him back, when you add 100 assists and 250 steals into the equation, you're left with only 1, and he wears Fort Wayne across his chest. The next day, John did what John did for his 4 years playing for us. He added another first to our program history as he recorded the first triple-double ever in Summit League tournament history. As we beat South Dakota in front of 10,000 South Dakota fans, about 50 of ours, and he had 18, 10, and 10. Today we're recognizing John, special young man, not that young anymore though, who's brought special moment after special moment to our community. In his 5 years, John was part of 96 wins, 4 postseason tournament appearances, a regular season title, back-to-back Indiana wins, and became the first NBA player in school history and the first player to earn his own day in Fort Wayne. March 28th, 2019 was proclaimed John Konchar Day by Mayor Henry. We're tremendously grateful for the national attention that John has brought to our program, our university, and our city, both as a Mastodon and in the NBA. And even more, I appreciate John for his humble manner and his class that he continues to represent us on the national stage. I've been asked so many times, when did you know? I knew he was going to be special on November 19th, 2015. We had just beat Austin Peay. It was early in his redshirt freshman year, 80-77 on the road. And that was November 18th, the day before. And John recorded his first double-double of his career, 28 and 12. We returned from a 6-hour bus ride at 4 a.m., and I told my staff, get some sleep. I'm going to do the 9 a.m. class check with our players. And I walked through the weight room about 8:30 in the morning, and there was John deadlifting in the weight room after scoring 28 and 12 in a road win. He arrived here at 6'4", 162, and put on 42 pounds of muscle in his redshirt year. It was absolutely amazing. Then I knew he was going to be really special when we had a recruiting visit shortly after that, and he told the recruit's family after we had just talked about our player development plan, and he told them on the official visit, he attributed that 42 pounds to Panda Express. Then I knew he was going to be really, really special when he and Trevor Osborne, our walk-on, spray painted his 15-year-old Malibu hubcaps black to make him look like Maahs. And then I knew he was one of a kind when 2 years into the NBA, he was still driving that Malibu with those spray painted hubcaps. He was amazing. and just true culture of our program, and a joy to be around. He's been texting my wife and my kids all week long about his experience here and so forth, has ignored me completely. And then last night about midnight, he starts texting me and said, "Coach, I just love to grind you leading into game day." Our community has shown great pride in John Konchar representing us. And I have no doubt that John feels the same pride about Fort Wayne and Purdue Fort Wayne. So I want to give a great shout out to John, and let's hear a little bit from John here. Go Dons.
Hello everyone, this is John Konchar. Being inducted into the Purdue Fort Wayne Hall of Fame is something I never imagined when I first stepped onto campus. Standing here now, it's hard to fully put into words what this moment means to me. Purdue Fort Wayne didn't just give me an opportunity to play basketball. It gave me a belief, and that belief came from people who poured into me every single day. I want to thank Coach John Kaufman for building a program rooted in trust, toughness, and accountability, and Coach Ryan Sims for the constant guidance and preparation behind the scenes. I'm incredibly grateful for the way you both believed in me and pushed me to be better. To Kevin Rudolphi, thank you for the countless hours in the weight room, for holding me accountable, and for helping shape the work ethic that still drives me today. And to Nick Antonelli, thank you for keeping me healthy, grounded, and ready. Your impact went far beyond the training room. I also want to recognize my teammates, Dylan Carl, Kason Harrell, Matt Holba, Bryson Scott, Max Landis, Joe Reed, and everyone I had the privilege of sharing the floor with. You weren't just teammates, you were my brothers. And to Nick Muschetti and Trevor Osborne, early mornings, late nights, and the grind, those moments are ones I'll always carry with me. This place taught me how to work, how to stay humble, and how to earn everything you get. The people here shaped who I am, not just as a player, but as a person. To be honored by Purdue Fort Wayne in this way is something I'll cherish forever. Thank you for believing in me, for supporting me, and for being such a meaningful part of my journey. I'll always be proud to be a Mastodon.
Following the John Konchar. Talking to John last week, he wanted to be here, but the NBA schedule is something. He was, as Coach would put it, grinding it out. But he did promise that he would come back to campus soon and want to celebrate with us. So with that, one more time for John Konchar. Now I have the honor to introduce someone who truly left a lasting impact and set a standard for women's volleyball here at Purdue Fort Wayne. Peachy Jankowski was the first four-year libero in our program's history. Thanks to a rule change that happened just before we recruited her. And perfect timing for us, really good timing for us, and from day one, the bar was very high. She was a heck of a defender, quick, fearless, incredibly skilled. Peachy had a way of making the routine dig and serve receive to just look that routine. She just made it look easy. And she was just doing Peachy things. In her 4 years as a starter, our team was 95-37. For the first 3 years, we were not in a league. We'd play anybody, anywhere, and we did. And we usually won. And in our first year in the Summit League, we made it all the way to the championship. And Peachy was a senior, is that right? Yeah. So of course I remember what she did on the court, we all do, and the impact she left, especially during our early days in the Summit League. Everyone took notice and she racked up the accolades, and you read that in the bio and you saw that on the screen. Those were foundational years in NCAA Division I and in our history, and Peachy was part of that foundation. But what made Peachy truly special was what she did every day. Her teammates absolutely adored her, many of them here today I'm looking at right now. She was a fierce competitor, also a kind and steady teammate, someone others trusted and wanted beside them in big moments. I asked some of her teammates recently, All right, help me describe Peachy. And they shot me some texts, and here's what they said. Here are the words: fierce, competitive, fun, feisty, reliable, and resilient. I do remember a couple of those nagging injuries, and you just played through it. And the Jankowski family, Teresa and Kent, incredibly supportive. Not just to Peachy, but our whole team. And that kind of support is what we needed in those early years, setting the foundation in Division I. Uncharted waters. And you were there. Almost every match. Thank you. But now, almost 20 years later, what I remember more, I think, are the things that happen not on the court, like hours, and I do mean hours, of catchphrase. I mean, Mike, I think you were a part of that one time. I was thinking about that yesterday. Do you remember when Mike played with us, catchphrase on the bus for hours? We watched The Office, I think like on DVDs or something like that. And then there was the bachelorette party. Somehow I was included in that fun, and I will leave that one right there. But my favorite memory is when Peachy and Dan, when Peachy became a mom. I remember being at Peachy and Dan's home, and that was 13 years ago. But Haley was so small, you guys. I mean, so small. And the confidence, and as a brand new mother, how warm she was, and that same steadiness that we saw on the court, it was right there in that moment too. Peachy Jankowski has always led with skill, heart, and quiet confidence, as a player, as a teammate, and as a person. She helped shape our program, and her legacy is still felt today. It is an absolute joy and honor to welcome you to the Hall of Fame, Peachy Jankowski.
Hi, thank you. It's an honor to be here today before all of you to be inducted into the Purdue Fort Wayne class of 2026 Hall of Fame. And as a high school player, I definitely dreamed of playing at the collegiate level. And then when I got recruited to play at the Division I level, that was truly a dream come true. When that happened, you know, I was very excited. But then when Coach called me, I don't know, a couple months back, I thought, you know, what was she calling me for? Just to catch up? I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be up here saying thank you to the committee for selecting me to be part of this 2026 Hall of Fame. So, thank you. I will truly, truly cherish this with great pride for this school. There are just a lot of people in my entire career, from the time I started playing in middle school till the time I graduated college, that I, you know, have had certain roles in my success in volleyball. Today, I'm just going to highlight a few. First of all, Coach and Steve-O. Gotta call him Steve-O, sorry, but that's just what we all called him. I just appreciate you guys taking a chance on a small 5'7" right side hitter from Fraser, Michigan. At the time when I was in high school, I played all the way around. So I played in the front row. I was a hitter. I was. And I got some kills, and I did get some blocks. Okay? But they saw something different in me, and you know, they knew this new position that was coming out, libero, that really hadn't, you know, come into the Division I yet, or even college athletics. And so they took a chance on me, and, you know, I was just forever grateful because I wanted to play Division I. And if that meant I'm going to sit there and play a defensive position, never see the front row, well, I'll take it. So thank you guys for that. It definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone as well. Like, as a libero, you're on the floor pretty much all rotations besides one server. So you are always there. You're a constant for the team. You need to be a leader. You're talking to your hitters all the time. You're letting them know where to hit. You're a constant. So for me, that was a challenge, especially as a freshman, to come in and try to, you know, be that leader. So I appreciate you guys for seeing something in me that, you know, I really didn't know I had at that time. Coach, I learned a lot being coached by you. You were tough. You were no nonsense. I mean, you told us how it was, and we knew where we stood with you all the time. And you know what? I really appreciate that. That's my personality too. And I think sometimes that's you and I. We have the same personalities. So it was great though, because I just love that you knew what you were getting with Coach, and she was hard on you, and she expected a lot out of you. And I think that's why in those 4 years we had such success on the court, because of Coach and her pushing us. I do remember a specific story. My freshman year, I was homesick. It's only 3 hours from my home, but after the freshman season, I was like, Coach, I think I'm done. Like, I just can't do this. And she sat there and talked to me, and it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but they are, your coach, especially as a woman, is like your mother away from home, because you see her on a daily basis. And I just remember this honest, like, heartfelt conversation with Coach Hartley, and she just sat there and said, hey, I know it's hard, like, you can do this, like, just stick it out for the next semester, and if at that time you don't like it and you want to go home, we'll make that decision. And I said, all right, but I'm in tears. I'm like, Well, I'm so glad and I'm so thankful for that honest conversation, because once I stayed that next semester, there was no turning back for me. I was so happy. It was the best decision I ever made. This was the perfect fit for me for college. So I really appreciate that. Steve, your love and enthusiasm for volleyball, I mean, anyone that's around you knows that. You came into every single practice and every single game with a smile on your face, with just excitement. I mean, you can't think of Steve without thinking big smile on his face. So I always appreciated that. Your little challenges that you would always create for us, that made things a lot of fun too. I mean, Steve wanted to just compete for anything. So for example, we would have two-a-days in the summer, and we would go over to Coach Hartley's house for like a cookout. Okay, if you guys can beat us in cornhole, any one of the teams challenge us. If you guys can beat us one game in cornhole, we'll knock off a two-a-day practice. 4 years, no one can beat them. I'm like, are you kidding me? Any competition that you do against those two, you are not going to win. We don't know how. We tried our hardest. So, but also the dog ball reaction balls. You guys remember those? I mean, we used to call them dog balls. They're like ball with all these sides, and I mean, the innovative, creative things that you brought every day, and just learning and teaching us new things, I am just impressed by that, especially now looking back. Thank you for all that. And to my teammates, thank you guys all for being here. It's amazing that you're all here, and I just love you guys. It's because of all of you. I mean, you've got the setters, the hitters, the blockers, and you guys, in volleyball, you all got to come together. I mean, it's such a team sport. So I just appreciate all of you guys. We had great successes here at IPFW, as Coach said. We were an independent team the first 3 years here, and we had winning seasons. We entered the Summit League my senior year and went to the Summit League Championship, and we just came up short that year. But it was amazing. But again, like Coach said, a lot of my great and fondest memories are probably from things that were off the court. From countless hours of in the training room, before and after games with Scotty, 6 a.m. workouts with P1 Paul, but sometimes maybe staying out a little bit too late the night before for the 6 a.m. workouts. And then, just the countless bus rides. And we do and will not forget, because this was 2004, our amazing bus rides to North and South Dakota. Those were not, those were just, we were doing anything we could to keep ourselves busy and comfortable. At one point, I think people were buying blow-up pool floats to lay on the floor of these buses so that we could be comfortable for the 15-hour bus ride. So anyway, the bonds that were created were amazing, and they are long-lasting. Some of which these people were in my wedding. I'm just so forever grateful for that. And lastly, to my mom and dad, sorry. They're my biggest supporters. They always have been. They taught me everything I knew about the game of life. Thank you for all your sacrifices my whole athletic career, from middle school to the end of college. You really don't realize how important, you actually don't realize the true depth of these sacrifices until you actually become a parent. I mean, now I see how important your kids' lives are to you. I have 3, a 13, 11, and 9-year-old, and they're all getting into sports. So I'm just so thankful for the countless hours you guys drove to all the games, all the weekends that you sacrificed sitting inside gyms that you probably didn't even see the light of day half the time because we were there all day. But, coming to our games and sleeping on our sketchy apartment couch just so that you could, maybe not drive home in the middle of the night. And I appreciate the phone calls, the advice. Sometimes I maybe didn't want to hear some of the things that you were saying, but I really appreciated that, and I still do. I know my teammates felt loved by you guys as well. So I just appreciate all the sacrifices you guys made and all the support that you've given me throughout all the years and today. In closing, I'm so grateful to have been a college athlete. I really am. You don't realize it at the time, but you're just learning and developing so many life skills on a daily basis, such as time management, sacrifice, being a good teammate, and the essence of hard work. So thank you again to the committee for this recognition. Go Dons. IP.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. Congratulations to all the inductees today. I've given a lot of thought on what I wanted to say to introduce this man right here. Do I tell a funny story? I've got plenty. An embarrassing one, a heartfelt one, plenty of those too. But there's just too many stories to tell in this moment without taking too much of his time, which will probably go over as well, knowing Mike. But Mike is someone from minute one that I stepped on campus was a friend. He's somebody that doesn't meet strangers. Everybody he meets is a friend, and the network of friends that he has is like a cell phone coverage map across the country. It's everywhere he goes, there's people that know him, love him, and adore him. He's a longtime broadcaster, whether it's with IPFW, Fort Wayne, Purdue Fort Wayne, many of the different names, or the Tin Caps. He always gave his all, did the research, had all of the knowledge, and he has dedicated his professional life to helping promote teams across his entire career. There's not a person who loves more what he does than Mike Maahs, and loves who he works with just as much. There isn't a better person than him, and it's my honor to introduce the newest Purdue Fort Wayne Hall of Famer, Mike Maahs.
Very kind words, Bill. Some of you may or may not remember, Bill and I were roomies on the road, primarily for women's basketball, sometimes for men's basketball, sometimes for volleyball. And with Kelly being the athletic director and former head women's volleyball coach, 2009, you're in the Summit League tournament. You're in the finals. Taking on vaunted North Dakota State in their backyard in that crazy facility in Fargo, a chance to make it to the NCAA tournament. Bill and I were with the women's basketball team, and being roomies, crazy things happen. Both of us love having air conditioning on in the middle of winter. Figure that one out. But Bill was trying to keep tabs of how you were doing. And when you beat the Bison and you won the Summit League Championship, which gets you a trip to the NCAA tournament, one of the happiest guys in the world was Bill Salyer. And he couldn't wait to try to get a hold of you to get some thoughts and comments. The bonus for me for that happening, I had a chance to broadcast an NCAA tournament volleyball match with then IPFW at the University of Illinois. That's one of the highlights of my career. I got into this crazy business back in January of 1990 doing high school athletics. I got a call in the fall of 1995 from a gentleman by the name of Bernie Lohmiller. Some of you recognize that name because Bernie was the director of College Access Television. I don't know how he found out about me. I didn't know him. He calls me up because he got my number. You don't know me, but I know you. Would you be interested in broadcasting some athletic events at IPFW? Oh, hot diggity dog. That's what I was trying to get into the business of. And on November 18th, 1995, the journey began. Men's basketball against what today is the University of St. Francis. Mastodons lost that day, but they would go on to win many times. My first women's telecast was on December 1st of that year. And the women won. They went on to win 23 games that year, which a record that was tied and then broken by one of Maria's teams just a couple of years ago, last year even. But the journey began, and I started off doing basketball, and that led into men's volleyball. And then eventually we got into coaches' shows, and so we joined the fun there. A lot of you know that I like to play with numbers, and I told Kelly I was going to throw some numbers out. Have had the great fortune to be able to broadcast Mastodon athletic events, 511 women's basketball games, 341 men's basketball games, 358 women's volleyball games, 404 and counting men's volleyball games, and even 10 baseball games that we did over the internet, including games at Michigan and Notre Dame and Purdue. When we started the coaches' shows, and there were a number of them, and they were on cable television, Kelly and I had a show for 4 years called Kelly's Corner. We did 42 of those, talking women's volleyball. We had a number of basketball coaches. Since I've started being able to be a friend and a member of the family, I've had 6 athletic directors, 6 head men's basketball coaches, 6 head women's basketball coaches, 3 head men's volleyball coaches, 3 head women's volleyball coaches, and 4 head baseball coaches. Now you throw in all of their staffs with the assistants, that's a lot of people. I don't even want to think about all the student athletes that I've had the great fortune to be able to tell people what they've been able to accomplish on the athletic front. When you add it up, believe it or not, I've been involved in 2,538 broadcasts involving Mastodon athletics. And that's a mind-blowing number. And I'm going to thank a lot of people before I get done talking, and I promised Kelly, and I promised Ashley, and I promised my lovely wife I'll try to keep it short, because a lot of you know that when I get started, it's hard to stop. But we got started, and the whole idea, when you broadcast athletics, you're trying, the role of a broadcaster is to be informative, educational, and exciting. And John Nolan made a comment earlier on, because he knows me. We've worked together for over 10 years doing baseball and some football, and he even joined me for a volleyball match a couple of years ago. I have a tendency when I'm broadcasting an athletic event that when something good happens, I get excited. And when I get excited, not only do I get louder, but my voice goes up about 7 or 8 octaves. But we get to do, when we broadcast athletic events, we get to showcase something. In this case here, it's the entire athletic program here at Purdue University Fort Wayne. And it's a chance that we can tell the public what this school is all about, who these student athletes are, who these coaches are. And it's a chance for us to sell the program to prospective student athletes down the road. It's a big responsibility, and it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. And I've been blessed many, many times in many, many ways. One of the joys I've gotten, and I said this in a Facebook post last night, there are 2 main reasons, the things that I enjoy about doing my job, and especially here at Purdue Fort Wayne. One is the ability to travel with the athletic teams. You get to go to different parts of the country, in my case, that I would never have been able to have gone to before. 2, you get to bond with the student athletes and the coaches. You get to learn more about them, they get to learn more about you. It gives you a different perspective when you try to describe what's happening on the athletic field to the listener, because a lot of the listeners also are family members, moms and dads and brothers and sisters and cousins and whatever. And so when we get to do this sort of thing, it helps to heighten the broadcast, but it also helps to what I was politely told when I got into this business back in 1994 by a Hall of Fame baseball broadcaster, paint the picture. And I'm referring to Ernie Harwell, who's longtime voice of the Detroit Tigers. He taught me 3 things back in 1994 as far as broadcasting, which are applied to life. One is be yourself. Don't try to imitate anybody. You'll be found out in a heartbeat. 2, have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not where you're supposed to be. And in 3, and this is where it applies to broadcasting extremely well, paint the picture. Because it took me a long time to realize that I was representing my audience. I was describing to the audience what was happening on the field. And in essence, not just me, but all broadcasters are the eyes and the ears and the mouth of what's happening. And it's kind of neat and kind of scary when you think about it. You don't want to mess things up, but you want to let people know what's happening. There have been some funny examples, and I want to mention a couple of them. Kelly mentioned earlier on a bus ride on women's volleyball playing a game, and I was embarrassed because I couldn't answer not one question that you threw at me. But there was some laughter. I've had some crazy experiences, and I'll mention just a couple of them. One involves Kelly and the women's volleyball team. We had a match at Eastern Michigan University, and we stopped in Toledo for the pregame meal. And while we were having the pregame meal, I realized I forgot tape. And those of you who know me know that Scotch tape is hooked up with me at the hip. If I had a percentage of 3M, if we had them as a sponsor, we could sponsor the athletic program for 100 years. But I was out of tape. And I asked Kelly and Steve, hey, do I have time? There was a store near where we were eating. Can I go get the tape? Yeah. So I go get the tape, and I'm heading back toward the restaurant. And all of a sudden, I look up, and here's this bus. It's the team bus, and it's pulling away. So I start panicking, and I start running toward the bus. And it's chugging, and it slows down. And I get to within 10 to 12 feet of the bus, and it stops. And I stop. And I look up, and the bus takes off again. And Kelly and Steve and the team was all on the one side of the bus, and they're laughing their heads off. That happened with women's volleyball team. In 2004, it happened with the women's basketball team. Tommy Shagler was working with me on the radio then, and we were heading to the Gates Center to get on the bus to go to West Lafayette. We pull into the parking lot, get out of the car, and we look, and here's the bus pulling away. Same thing happens. I start yelling and running. They don't hear me. But finally, they come to a stop, and I get on the bus, and everyone's laughing. Fun times. It makes some people happy. I have a piece of history in the Summit League going back to March of 2008. It was our first year in the Summit League, and both basketball teams made it to the postseason tournament. And that year, it was played in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at Union High School, one of the biggest high schools in the state. Had a 5,000-seat arena for basketball, had a 12,000-seat artificial turf stadium for football. And the deal with Summit League postseason tournament, you have what's called shoot-around. During the season, it's an hour. In tournament play, 27 minutes. 27 minutes, and the horn goes off, and then you have 3 minutes to get out and leave the court. And with the women's team, because we played first before the men, women played it in the afternoon, men played at night. Set up my stuff, horn goes off, I got 3 minutes to go. I still got a couple of things to tape up. I said to myself, you can get this done. I tape them up, I get up, I walk out. Nobody's around. I can't see anybody on the team. I look around and I open up the door. Here's the bus pulling out of the parking lot. Now, I have my cell phone in one hand. I have my bag in the other hand. I start running after the bus. Now, I'm yelling, guys, come back, come back. You think they're gonna hear? They got the windows closed. They're driving forward. As I'm running like a banshee, heading for the bus, I don't realize that there are speed bumps in the parking lot. I hit one. I did a complete flip. I'm not kidding. I hit the ground. My glasses went flying. My phone went flying. The bag went flying. For a few seconds, I didn't know what I was going to do. I wake up, get up, and I'm thinking, okay, get my senses first, then I'm looking, and the bus is going down the street. Now I got two choices. Call the coach, come back here, or wait 2.5 hours till the men's team has their shoot around and go back to the hotel with the men. As I'm contemplating what I'm going to do, I'm looking at the bus going down the street, and the bus stops and turns left. Turns into a Golden Corral restaurant where they're going to have a meal. So I hobble up there, and long story short, I had cut myself so bad that I stopped the coaches eating breakfast because they saw me bleeding. One of the coaches got towels at me, get tourniquets. We get back to the hotel, and I get fixed up. But I'm hurting so bad, I'm not wearing slacks. This is Tulsa, Oklahoma in early March. I'm wearing shorts. Rudy Ovich was our SID. He was also my color commentator for the women's game. He comes to the arena, and I'm already there, and he sees me in shorts. Blew his stack. What are you wearing shorts for? Rudy, take one step back and take a look at me. And I'm all beat up and bandaged up. And he starts laughing. That's another example. Everyone knows when you traveled, I used to fall asleep at the drop of a hat. We had a situation one time where we were flying to Texas to take on Texas Pan American and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. We fly into Dallas, we have a 4-hour layover. It took Hillary O'Connor, one of our assistants, 20 minutes to wake me up to get on, to get onto the plane. And then we fly to Corpus Christi, we take the bus, we head for Edinburgh, and we have a driver who says he knows the roads. Charity Milton was one of our assistant coaches. We get to down I-35, getting close to Edinburgh, and we see the sign that says, last exit before Mexico. The bus driver turns around, looks at Charity, who's sitting right in front of me, and he asked her, is this the exit I'm supposed to get off on? Charity says, why are you asking me? I've never been in Texas before. Craziness. So many things happen like that. But those are some of the fun things. Had some great calls. I think back to 2010, we're at Oral Roberts, preseason favorites to win the Summit League. Tie game, 12 seconds to go. Take time out, go up the floor. Jordan Zoop was our leading scorer. ORU knew that she was. They double teamed her. Ball gets into the hands of Chelsea Jackson, who was a guard from Flint, Michigan. She comes up the floor, goes over midcourt, comes to the foul line, stops, pops, horn goes off. Ball goes through. We win the game, 74-72. You would have thought the women just won the national championship. They flooded the court. It was a mob scene. A great moment. December 1st, 2013, we're at Michigan State. Spartans are ranked 18th in the country. We knock them off, 81-76. Amanda Hyde, two-time Summit League Player of the Year, 23 points, 7 assists. They were 18th in the country. It's the first time a Mastodon basketball team, men or women, had beaten a Big Ten team. First time they'd beaten a Big Ten team on the road, and the first time a team had beaten a nationally ranked team. Great moment. Quarterfinal Summit League 2013 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Western Illinois. Back and forth we go. Stephanie Mock makes a three-pointer at the horn to send the game into overtime. Her sister Rachel wanted to do one better. 3 seconds left in the first overtime, she gets a layup. We go to double overtime. And then Rachel makes 2 free throws with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go to give us the lead. We end up winning 106-101. It still is the Summit League record for the highest point total in a tournament game in league history. Great moments. But it's not just basketball. I remember when the men's basketball team won their first game at the D1 level here at the Coliseum against Oakland University. A momentous moment. Men's volleyball team. I remember when we knocked off Lewis, when Lewis was ranked the number 3 team in the country in straight sets. We talked about Kelly and the volleyball team making it the NCAA tournament in 2009. Made it again in 2012. Great moments. And I'll try to finish it off because I know I'm yip-yapping. But when I say one of the great goals is to be able to establish relationships, the parent relationship has meant a great deal to me. Ann Bosey, who is here, her mom and dad, and I told her I was going to mention her folks today. Ann has a piece of Summit League women's basketball history that can never be replaced. She was the first ever women's basketball player to successfully make 300 three-point field goals in her career. Nobody can take that away from her. And her mom and dad were staunch supporters. Jordan Zoop, her parents are from suburban Pittsburgh. To this day, I still have a Pittsburgh Steelers t-shirt. I'm a native of Detroit. Do I care about the Steelers? No. But I still have that Steelers t-shirt that I wear on occasion. We had a player by the name of Brett Green that was here for 2 years. Brett was born in Monroe Beach, South Carolina. Her dad got transferred to Indianapolis, and she came down to Fort Wayne. First year she played, did our season, and a year I get a postcard from her grandparents. We really enjoyed how you broadcast the games, and we liked it so much that we felt as if we were right there courtside. That's what Ernie Harwell meant when he said the greatest joy you can get is not making it to the major leagues or not making $1 million. It's getting a comment from a listener who likes your work so much, they want to let you know that they enjoy it and they feel like they're right there at the action. I say that about Brett's grandparents. The next year we had 2 games in South Carolina. I got to meet the grandparents in person. Got another postcard at the end of the year, similar to the first one, except for the final sentence. And her final sentence was, finally, we want to let you know that for the past 2 years, you have been the lifelink between our granddaughter and ourselves, and for that we'll be forever grateful. Wow. That means that I've been able to do something right. That hit home. I got a number of texts last night. One of them was from another former player, Eva Ivanova from Bulgaria. And she made the comment, well deserved. I don't know. I told Kelly I don't deserve this. I've never been a student. I've never been a student athlete here. But I've had the great fortune to tell people what IPFW and PFW athletics is all about. And Eva, in her comment, said, among other things, You may not realize how many people you have had an impact on in their lives, including mine. Thank you very much. Wow, that's what it's all about. We get to tell people about Purdue Fort Wayne athletics, and we can try to do it in as enjoyable a manner and an exciting manner as possible. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all the coaches and all the student athletes and all the family members and all the athletic directors and so forth. I've been blessed. I hope I have tried to bless others. And it is an honor for me. I always say this at the last broadcast I do in whatever sport I do. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to describe the action to you. It has been an honor and a privilege for me to tell all of you about Purdue Fort Wayne athletics. Lord willing, as long as the health stays up and Kelly says I'm still doing a good job, that I can continue to do it. It's been fun. I appreciate it. Hall of Fame. It's a magical phrase, but it carries a responsibility. I will do my best to represent Purdue Fort Wayne in athletic events as long as I'm able to do so. And again, thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for putting up with me and listening to me or watching me. And thank you much, and go Dons. Thank you very much. Sorry I took so long. It wasn't 7 minutes, Ashley, but I'm sorry, my watch stopped.
Congratulations, Mike. First, want to thank the committee for putting on this excellent event this morning. Congratulations to those guys that were inducted. Peachy, I didn't know your name and last name until today, to be honest. I just knew you as Peachy, the volleyball girl. John Konchar, he's not here, obviously, but one of my proudest moments of being a Don was rushing the court here at the Coliseum when they took down IU. I'll never forget that. That was awesome. And Mike Maahs, 31 years, well, 32 after those stories. Sorry, man, had to. I remember you interviewing me back in, 1995 or 6, so it's awesome to see you're still here and still kicking it. Before I get to introduce the 99 soccer team, there's some people I want to recognize, and the first being one of the members of the 99 team who unfortunately lost their lives back in 2021. And that member is Nico Pliastos. I understand some family members are here to represent him. So if you guys could please stand. Thank you. Nico was a very big part of this team. Incredible person. He will always be remembered and always loved by the members of this team, so he'll be missed. Next is head coach Terry Spankwitz, who cannot be here today. Pretty sure he saw the weather report and staying down south. So he was my coach here when I played, and he was a father away from home for me, and I know he was to a lot of these guys in the 99 team. So I'm very grateful that he gave me the opportunity to come start coaching in 99 with these guys. The next one I'd like to recognize is Mark Coffey. I think he's over there. Can you stand up real quick, please? Thanks. Mark was my assistant coach when I played here, and he was also Terry's assistant coach all the way up to 98. So he played a big role in assembling this team and putting forth a lot of effort and work with these guys, and made me look good when I came in 99 when he left, so thank you. The next one I'd like to recognize is Braun Pfeiffer. As you know, Braun and I coached together for a long time. Braun is a Hall of Famer here. He played back in the 1970s 60s. What is that? Sorry, I got to get one in while I had the mic. Braun actually coached a majority of these guys in club ball, and that's where the team chemistry started, and that's very important. That when we got the team, this team was already assembled. We didn't have to work on the chemistry. They were boys. They were tight. They came in together, and a lot of that is credited to Braun working with those guys. So thanks, Braun. I know club coaches never get a lot of credit. They do all the dirty work, and then we get the finished product. So well done. Now the '99 team. Who are they? Facts. By the best team in the program history, and that's over 50 years, which is incredible. Facts are 18-3-1, conference champions, regular season champions, NCAA, Final 8 in the nation. Those are facts. Can't dispute those. But who really were they? To me, they were a bunch of guys that loved to play the game, for the love of the game. They weren't in it for the scholarships, I can tell you that, because I saw the numbers. Okay? I know. They loved to play, but most importantly, they loved to play for each other. This team was tight, and I spent 20 years trying to replicate that team chemistry and couldn't do it. Sometimes it just happens, and those guys were so tight. So I won't bore you anymore, so I'm going to have the team captain, my college roommate, my college teammate, my good friend, I can keep going on, Dave Smith, Captain Dave Smith. Come up and speak, please.
When I say short, it's going to be short, not like Mike Short. Congratulations to John, Peachy, and Mike on the individual awards. It is different giving a team award. It's like Coach Harper said, we were tight, we were all friends, hung out on the field, off the field, and we had some rough times, but at the end it was all worth it. And so I thank all of you for that. And as Mike said, Coach Terry could not be here today, so he wanted me to read something. Now, I took what he wrote and made it a PG version, so yeah, I'll spare you guys the rest of it. So 26 years is a very long time. Memories have been or become foggy, or they become embellished, like the stories of how big the fish was. Please allow me to share with you a few stories of mine. I want to thank Diane Zimmerman, who helped tutor a bunch of kids on the team. I'll leave it at that. She just tutored a bunch and, helped us get through some tough times. We began the season 1-2 that year. I'm not sure we were 1-2, but I'm still going to go with what he said. The trip out east with a bunch of fun-loving guys. Will Cook started the trip off by missing the plane. Kevin Krause shattered a backboard. Kevin's around here somewhere. Yeah, that was fun. So that's a good start. And he remembers I remember having a meeting with Harper and Smith. That's me. The topic was we need to turn the ship around. I think every good team runs into that at some point. There's some hard times, and you got to figure some things out. David Smith became the best captain I ever had. Don't know about that. I was just one of them. There was no more practice of becoming very competitive because everyone recognized that we had great potential. We started beating teams that we had never beaten before. You guys all came from great supportive parents, which was huge, which is true. I think my parents traveled 20,000 miles that year going to every game. The Pendletons were at every game. The Knitters were at every game. I probably missed a few, I'm sure, in there somewhere. But Canablos, they were always there. Personally, some of my highlights of that season was Mrs. Cook making me blueberry pies, Mrs. Smith flying me to Kentucky so I could watch my son play in a semi-state soccer game. And when I say Mrs. Smith flew, like she actually flew the plane. And the many vodka gimlets parents would buy me on the road trips. I guess we didn't know about that, but glad he enjoyed it. All of a sudden, you were the talk of the campus. The Iron Curtain defense, Richie, Canablo, Knitter, Smith, and Ryland. I need to add Pendleton in there as well, who covered for Matt Hine, which is true because Matt never played defense. Yeah. And although this isn't a team award, I would say like it felt a lot of times like Matt was playing 1-on-11 according to Terry because he was the only guy on the field. The group had a record 14 shutouts, which I didn't know was 14. I knew it was a bunch, but 14 is a pretty nice accomplishment. This is a group with great pride. Here we go again. Matt Hine was our special player. Thanks, Matt. Opposing midfielders would back away for fear of looking bad. Our attack was pretty potent. Butler, baby freshman Luya, Watson, and Chris, our lures connection. I think what made everyone work so hard was the fact that each person on the second team could come in and do a great job, and it made practices very competitive as well. And a few accolades here. 4 IPFW individual Hall of Famers, Mike Harper, who was just up here, Ian Luya, couldn't be here, Jeff Ritchie, and Matt Hine. Pretty sure Ritchie got there because he never got any shots against him. So that's helpful for you. We had 2 first-team All-Americans, Jeff Ritchie, Matt Hine. Matt was Player of the Year in the conference, and Jeff was runner-up. 6 all-conference players, Jeff Ritchie, Matt Hine, David Smith, Brian Knitter, Chris Kramer, Mark Watson. A regional championship, a conference title, and end of the season national ranking of 8th in the nation. Just when I started my freshman year, we had 9 wins, I think. My sophomore year, maybe 6. And then junior year might have been 10 or so, give or take a win. I don't remember them all, but to go to 18 was a huge accomplishment, I think, for all of us. So let me conclude by telling each of you what great happiness you brought me, watching a group of boys who became men all in one season. My hope is that you have carried over into your adult personal lives things that you learned in 1999. Thank you for letting me be a part of your team. Stanks. So yeah, just wanted to read that from Terry. And I think when Harper said we were 14 kids all from like northern Indiana, so we were all pretty much close. We had 1 from England, 1 from Massachusetts, Cincinnati, a group from Chicago, and Omaha. So we were all pretty much local kids, and that's the tightness of the team, I think, is really what brought us together. Yeah, certainly weren't the fastest, but we gave a lot of effort. So wanted to thank the coaches for that. And as Harper mentioned, Braun as well. So local hero, coach, mentor. Adam Strack, another guy as far as I played with for 3 years, and not many guys play with more effort than he did. So he helped us get to where we got to. So thank you all. Appreciate the honor. Thank you.
Yeah, and what a great showing of guys coming out here today. So right now, I'll introduce you guys, and then Kelly will present you with a medal. Jeff Ritchie, Mark Watson, Peter Ivanchovich, Matt Rogers, James Ryland, Nicholas Pendleton, Matt Hine, Clint Canablo, Dave Smith, Braden Butler, Scott Bailey, Kevin Kraus, Brian Watson, and Mike Harper. Let's hear it for the 1999 men's soccer team. All right, and in wrapping up now, while we celebrate these terrific Hall of Famers, let's also thank those who make an event like this possible. Much gratitude to the Mastodons athletic staff for all their hard work, really every day, but especially to pull off an event like this, and particularly to Ashley Malone, Derek Sloboda, and Corey Donovan, taking care of everything from the logistics to the great video and planning everything else. So let's hear it for the Dons athletic staff. And again, shout out to the committee for organizing this event and putting together such a great class. Another reminder for all the Hall of Famers now present and past, we'll organize everyone for a group photo coming up here, and then for everyone who attends the men's basketball game coming up at 1 o'clock at halftime, all the Hall of Famers will be celebrated on the court during a special presentation as well. And for everybody else, the brunch back there is looking really good. We've got the cash bar, so please stay, celebrate, enjoy that. And one last thanks to Lutheran Health and to OPS for their support of this ceremony. And how about one final time, let's hear it for the Mastodon Hall of Fame, class of 2026. All right, thank you everyone. Go Dons.